Welcome back to Witness Stories. This one's called My Sleeping Wife. I now understand there are no secrets in spirit. Let me explain. Even though I'm not keen to do so, it's embarrassing to me. And because my wife is involved, let me assert up front, I love my wife deeply and unconditionally. So, it is well known that two people can suddenly start singing the same song, or thinking the same song at the same time, or the same thought. At times people will answer a question or bring up a subject that is just about to be spoken. These are easy to naysay, but there are other situations that are less easily dismissed. There are plenty of times that my wife will have gone to sleep before I have, and almost all of these times she's completely quiet, except if she should snore or something. But I do not even hear her breath heavily, but the exceptions are notable. There have been times that I have been thinking like a comment or a subject that relates to something she might care about, and just after I thought it, she will mumble an answer or comment that seems to address that thought. I was just thinking it. I didn't speak it. These are, for the most part, single word comments, yes or no, or an emotionally expressed word. But interestingly, she never swears. She's sleeping and not a swear word. At that moment, I'm a little miffed because I might have been a little towards a zone of thought that I would not have played that way face to face with her. So that's I have to be careful even what I think. So these days, I'm very mindful of what I'm thinking when she is asleep, but I am also of the opinion that it is a little unfair to me. This also happens when I'm only visualizing. So again, it's not fair. But one incident is indicative of otherworldliness. Before this, I was a little less worried about my mindfulness until this had happened. I am adverse to admit this, as it is very private, but it is too integral with the event. My wife has a ruptured disc and has also had a replaced hip and some other physical structural problems with her body. The pain can be very intense and is aggravated by any position that you would want to perform intimate acts of love. Also, our weight at this age makes all that much worse. So, since maybe at least 15 years ago, all of that stopped for us. It has taken some getting used to on my part for sure, but we have managed. Still, sometimes I feel very sorry for myself, and a few years ago, I had one of those moments. This was 10 minutes before I was going to go to sleep, and it was at least 20 minutes after she had already gone to sleep. So I was thinking in my own head, and hold on a minute, even worse, I was also complaining inside my head that there were any number of physical interplays, let's not go into details, that we could have tried if I had communicated better, and she was more adventurous than I thought. Of course, none of that was 100% fair on my part, and quite likely, in retrospect, I was likely the bigger part of that failure, because I'm a bit shy back then, and probably even now, about bringing up the whole subject. Certainly, I knew very well to never say such things to her face and hurt her feelings, to complain about something like that. After all, this issue is totally outside of her own control. When I came home from work on the, I had these thoughts while she was asleep. Then I went to bed. But the next day, when I came home from work, that night, or maybe in the next couple of days, I'm not sure, she suddenly remembered to tell me how unhappy she was that I had told her those terrible things about the subject, and how dare I claim that she was a prude. For a short time, I didn't know what to address first. How I didn't really blame her, and no, this was not actually what I was thinking was the truth, but no, we did not have that actual discussion about that subject, at that, the complaint, not ever. I've never complained about that with her. Please, you must know, this is catch-22. Admitting I was thinking of it, but never had said it, would never actually get me out of hot water at that point. No way. I mean, thinking, for her point of view, thinking it is just as bad as saying it. All I could start with was saying I was totally wrong, and only then could I get her to accept the fact that I would not actually say that to her face. To her, it's the argument itself that was important, and I don't think she really cared whether she had heard it spiritually or she had heard it physically. To me, it makes a difference because I'm the one in the line of fire. I'm not sure that she believed me that the conversation did not actually happen in this world. I was just glad when that discussion was left far behind. But I know I did not say those things. I was shy about such talk, remember? And also because I spent a bit of thought about the last few days after she came up with this. The fact that I could not have had this line of discussion with her, and also reviewing everything, there is no point we had this discussion. There's only one point that the subject came up, and it was in my own head. I was being a whiny little baby about it, but I thought nobody else would. I was just dumping my frustration about it, and thinking it would not land anywhere where anybody else would see it. So, just to review, our interaction on a physical level cannot be restored unless she obtained a new body or something equally miraculous had happened. That case is closed. This is not her fault. So anyway, I decided to not review or feel sorry about that subject matter ever again, and just emotionally accept this brave new world. I love her very much, more than any part of that issue. I want to make the point that on the other side of the veil, there are no secrets. This incident proves that to me. We probably did review that conversation in spirit, I'm sure. I.e., we could have had that while out of body or, whatever, but it wasn't while we were consciously awake here. Not in this physical world. Frankly, that kind of getting that proof of no secrets is getting it that way is stark and a bit painful and scary.